You know, there are mysteries and then there are mysteries. We're talking about things that get under your skin, that stick with you. In this one, this is about a book that's held its secrets for over 600 years, whispering a story that absolutely no one can hear. It's one of history's greatest and frankly, most chilling unsolved cases.
Just imagine it for a second. You're holding this ancient book. The pages are filled with these beautiful, totally bizarre, hand-drawn pictures. You can see the words right there on the page, but the text is written in a language that nobody on Earth understands. It's like a ghost telling a story that we just can't hear. Okay, let's pull back from the ghost stories for a second. The ghost you're talking about is the Voynich Manuscript. Its official name is Voynich MS-408, and it sits in a library at Yale University. It's not a ghost, it's a real physical object that we can actually study.
A real physical object? Come on, it's so much more than that. We're looking at about 240 pages made of animal skin, packed with over 170,000 characters, written in a script that looks and feels like a real language, but it's one nobody's ever seen before. And the pictures? We're talking about plants that don't exist on this planet, star charts of unknown constellations, and these really strange, unsettling scenes of people bathing in some kind of green liquid. See, there you go again, getting lost in all the weirdness. Before we dive any deeper into that rabbit hole, let's stick to the hard evidence, okay? We need to ground this in what we actually know. Science gives us a crucial anchor here. While the book's known history is more like a few breadcrumbs scattered in a huge forest. It kind of pops up in Prague in the 1600s, maybe owned by the Holy Roman Emperor Rudolph II. Then a few scholars and alchemists pass it around before it just vanishes for 200 years. Then, in 1912, this book dealer, Wilfred Voynich, finds it, puts his name on it, and eventually it gets donated to Yale. There are some massive gaps in that story, don't you think? But here is one thing we know for absolute certain. Back in 2009, scientists did radiocarbon dating on the pages, and they confirmed the vellum itself was made sometime between 1404 and 1438. So whatever this thing is, it is genuinely, seriously old.
And this is where it gets really interesting. From a practical standpoint, the vellum, it came from at least 15 different calves. The ink is just your standard, everyday iron gall ink, put on the page with a simple quill pen. The paints are made from cheap, common pigments. And maybe most importantly, the pages are described as heavily thumbed, which means somebody used this book a lot. This wasn't some priceless treasure locked away. It was a cheap, well-used, maybe even a working book. Doesn't sound so mystical now, does it?
Cheap? Well-used? That's exactly what makes it so incredibly strange. Why would a cheap, everyday book be filled with, well, let's just go inside. Let's take a little tour of a world that nobody understands. The book seems to be broken up into sections, and honestly, each one is weirder than the last. You've got what looks like an herbal section, but botanists agree none of the plants are real. They're these strange combinations of different species. Then you've got astronomical charts and zodiacs that don't match any known sky. And then you get to the bathing section. And you have to look closely. In the margins, you find these little drawings that just feel so out of place. Like this little dragon, breathing what looks like green fumes. This isn't just a textbook. It feels like a window into another reality, or maybe some kind of magical instruction manual. And then there's this masterpiece, the Rosette's fold-out. I mean, look at this thing. It's a 6-page map of 9 islands, all connected by these causeways, with castles and what might even be a volcano. A map to where, exactly? It doesn't match any place on Earth, not now, not in the past. It's like a map to a lost world. And this is that bathing section I mentioned. It's page after page of these small, nude female figures. Some of them are even wearing crowns. And they're all floating in these bizarre, organic-looking pools that are connected by this whole network of pipes. I mean, what are we looking at here? Is it a diagram for some kind of healing spa, a vision of paradise, or something much darker? It's beautiful for sure, but it is also deeply, deeply unsettling. All right. The pictures are weird, I'll give you that. But let's set aside the visions of paradise and talk about the text itself. The drawings are one mystery, but the script is the real challenge here. For centuries, this has been the Mount Everest for codebreakers. Yeah, just to even try to crack this thing, researchers had to invent new alphabets, ways to turn these strange symbols into letters a computer can analyze. It seems to have about 20 to 25 main characters, and it's written so smoothly, so confidently, like whoever wrote it was fluent in, well, whatever this is.
It's definitely not a simple letter-for-letter code.
But this is the incredible part. When you run a statistical analysis on the text, it behaves like a real, natural language. It follows something called Zipf's law, which is a fancy way of saying that the most common words appear a lot, and the least common words appear rarely, just like in English or any other language. This basically proves it isn't random gibberish. There's a real message in there, just waiting for us to unlock.
Whoa, hold on a second. Yes, it follows some patterns of a natural language, but it breaks other, really fundamental ones. For instance, you'll see the exact same word repeated 2, 3, sometimes even 5 times in a row. And certain characters that seem to act like prefixes or suffixes never show up in the middle of a word. That's just not how real languages work. It's like a language, but a broken one. So, what does that leave us with? Pretty much 3 main theories. First, it's a cipher, a code. But the world's best codebreakers have thrown everything at it and nothing works. Second, and this is what I lean towards, it's a real, lost language written in an invented alphabet. But, as you said, the statistical patterns are just too weird. So that leaves your theory. It's all an elaborate hoax, just meaningless symbols designed to trick someone. But then, how could a forger in the 1400s create something so linguistically complex? The very patterns that make it look real weren't even discovered until centuries later.
And we're not talking about amateurs trying to solve this. The absolute best American and British codebreakers from World War I and World War II, the very people who were cracking the most sophisticated enemy codes in history, they all took a shot at the Voynich Manuscript, and every single one of them failed. The legendary cryptanalyst Elizabeth Friedman, after spending decades on it, finally concluded that any attempt to decipher it was, in her words, doomed to utter frustration. Think about that. These are the best minds in the business, and they just threw their hands up. This book guards its secrets very, very well. So here we are, 600 years later, with supercomputers and artificial intelligence, and the book is still a complete and utter mystery. It's a true historical cold case.
Oh, believe me, people have claimed they've solved it. There are hundreds of proposed solutions out there. People have claimed it's everything from a shorthand version of Latin to Old Turkic, a lost language from the Aztecs, even something called Proto-Romance. You name it, someone's claimed it.
And you know how many of those claims have been proven right? 0. Not a single one has ever been independently verified. Every time someone shouts Eureka, other experts take a look and their solution completely falls apart. The score is basically Voynich Manuscript 1, all of human history 0.
Which brings us right back to where we started. Just staring into this beautiful, bizarre unknown. Is it the last surviving text of a lost civilization? Is it the most brilliant and elaborate hoax ever created? Or is it something else entirely? A message that we're just not ready to understand yet. In the end, all we're really left with is its profound, haunting beauty. It's a book that kind of acts like a mirror, reflecting our own desperate need to find meaning where there might not be any. Or maybe, just maybe, it's just a book that's incredibly good at keeping a secret. Whatever it is, it remains one of history's most perfect enigmas, the book that stares back.